I have been through one of these inland hurricanes in 1996. The hurricane didn't turn up the coast, it shot inland into Raleigh, North Carolina. We sat all night long listening to trees fall on all of our neighbors' houses. Woke up the next day and the whole neighborhood was basically demolished. We were without power for 10 days. There aren't many people out there, especially on YouTube, that can say that they've been in their house having lost power for 10 days due to a hurricane. I did. There's a handful out there, but I have been through that. That being my Marine Corps background, doing a lot of hiking up in the mountains when I was young, being through tons and tons of hurricanes, being through 10 days without power, I'm prepared now. I'm just not worried about it. I guarantee you, half the people I know, including some of my family members and kids, they just aren't prepared. They don't have flashlights, they don't have batteries, they don't have backup systems, and they go without power for 2 or 3 days. You think going without power is bad for six hours? Wait till you have to do it for 6 days. This, I'm telling you, this is one of those storms that could put down thousands and thousands of trees, knock out hundreds and hundreds of transformers, and make these pockets of long-term blackouts. I know it's too late, but you have got to get to the point. You have got to get your family to the point where you can survive basically a week with no power. You've got to get to that point. That's my personal opinion. So I'll walk you around today and show you what's going on. Hear the wind? We got a hurricane coming. This isn't even the hurricane yet. This is just some storm systems going on. What am I doing today? Today I'm going to walk around here. I'm going to show you some basic systems that I think are great for the average household. Now, this fall I'm going to be doing a long-term preparation series where I take you to the farm property. After we got done with that renovation there, I decided to go ahead and set it up to basically do a prepper series where we can close our gates. We can survive out there completely disconnected from everything, 2 to 3 years, no problem. And I'm talking power, I'm talking water, I'm talking food, I'm talking gardening, everything. So make sure you're subscribed, number one. Give this thing a thumbs up if you don't mind, it does help out. But today I'm gonna walk around the beach house and I'm gonna show you some basic essentials. Not even hardwired generators, I'm talking about extension cords. At some point, I will do an interlock switch here and a generator plug. At the farm property, we have actually a kind of complex system where not only do I have an interlock, but I also have a dual switch. I can switch over to a massive backup battery system that has solar powered, or I can flip it down and I can go to a gas generator. So I'll show you that, but I'll walk around here and just show you some basic stuff. We actually had a power outage from the storms last week, and I actually used this battery system. Now in the description below, I'll link to the products that I'm using. I'm going to build a page and I'll put everything on there, and I guarantee I'll forget something. I'm horrible at putting links up. So if you go to that link in the description, you go to the web page and there's something missing I didn't show, please just drop a comment down below and I'll try and find it for you, because most of the stuff I just get off Amazon and I buy it myself. Man alive, isn't that lawn looking great? This side of the lawn looks like a golf course down there. It is absolutely gorgeous. My bare spot with all that seed, look at that. That's really filling in nice. So I turned off my watering schedule, but I cut it yesterday. I came out here and cut this with a reel mower yesterday. Maybe I don't know if I have that footage or not, but man, that's looking phenomenal from where we started off when I came down here. Now you'll see, I probably should link to these. See that there's a security camera on that palm tree, and then there's a security camera over on that pole. One of those is Wi-Fi, one of those is cellular. So in the event that there is a power outage and we're not here and there's no Wi-Fi, actually that one over there is cellular and will actually still transmit cellular. Let me hop out back real quick. This morning, I couldn't let the dogs out because we had such a heavy downpour this morning. This is the waves before the storm. This isn't even the hurricane. This is just storms because it's so hot and humid. See this orange cord? That's a heavy 10 gauge cord. Those are expensive. That's a 100-foot 10 gauge cord. They'll run about $100 to $140. I did find one on Amazon for you guys, and the reason why I do that is because I plug into the 30 amp plug on my generator, and then I run it through a window in the house, and I can plug anything I need into that. At the farm property, I actually have an interlock switch at the farm property, and I can shut off from the main. I throw my interlock switch, and then on the outside of the house I actually have a dual switch. So what I can do is I can actually go to my gas generator And if I don't want to run a gas, I have a massive backup battery system that I can put solar panels out for. I throw it down to my battery backup so I can go either way on that house, and it feeds right into my main panel. This does not. Next year we'll probably put an interlock down here. Okay, so this is my dual fuel open frame inverter generator. I love this thing. Now this is 4,200 starting watts, 3,500 running watts. This is plenty enough power to run refrigerators, all your lights, all your basic plug-in stuff. It is not suitable probably for your HVAC system, even with a soft start on it. So here's what I do. This is a Gorilla cart, and I'm just going to leave this over this. Now, if I have to start this, I'm going to get this out of the way, obviously. I don't mind it getting wet if it's raining when it's running, but before then, I actually build, there's my 30 amp plug right there. I actually build a little deflector. Use this is Gorilla tape, so if there's any rain coming down here, I actually have that going into my 10 amp, and I cover over, see this right here? I cover over any open sockets. So these are all covered up, these open sockets. And the exhaust is not covered up, by the way. The exhaust comes out here. I did a video on these generators, and my biggest pet peeve is these carbon monoxide sensors. It's legislation that's being passed that I don't know what it is, but any new models that come out have to have them on them. So many of you guys have commented with my same pet peeve, and that is that you get false shutdowns. Just sitting out in the open, just sitting in an area where you don't have good circulation, and people are saying, oh, just put a fan on it. I shouldn't have to put a fan out in the rain blowing on my generator. I'm not talking about in a shed or whatever. I'm just talking about sitting somewhere out here like this. You will get false shutdowns. Now you got to come out when it's rain and when it's lightning. This does not have one of those switches on it. And I'm telling you, there's so many videos online on people actually just going in, showing you how to disconnect those carbon monoxide sensors. So this one does not have it, and it's a great one. Dual fuel, gasoline or propane. I have three or four propane tanks, I can't remember. I have five 5-gallon tanks of gasoline, plus I have 2 vehicles here that I can drain the gas out of if I need to. So I'm pretty much set. But anyways, 10 gauge, we just run the 10 gauge cord up there and we plug it in, and we run a refrigerator, we run all of our lights, everything. Let me take you upstairs and show you. I'm gonna show you a lantern, and I'm gonna show you a backup battery. Okay, so the girls have their blankets set up. Linda, you got your blanket all set up for the hurricane? We don't like those storms, do we? No, we don't. A lot of people ask, Doc, you have a brand new HVAC system. Why do you have a window unit? There's a couple of reasons. Number one, during the day, we run that 5,000 BTU, and it cools this whole place in here. This isn't that big. This isn't that big of a living area, and it cools this whole place. At the farm property, I did a full video on why at night we run a small window unit, and I linked to the U-shaped ones. I've done several videos on those, and they're fantastic. In a power outage, you'll be the only one sleeping in a cold bedroom or have air conditioning. These little lanterns are fantastic. They charge with a USB. They charge with a USB port, and you can charge your phone. These little lanterns, once they're charged, they say they have a 200-hour runtime on low power. So let's turn this on, and they are bright. Ooh, man, that thing is scorching bright. I mean, it's crazy. You'll go down to low power. You go down to low power, and that low power will give you 200 hours on one charge. This is my all powers S2000. I'll put a link to it. This thing right here, if I turn this on, Jack Russell, they're getting up on their hurricane blankets. Okay, so when I turn this on, this is all 120s up here. It has USB ports. You can charge your phone. You can do whatever you want, but you'll notice it also has a solar input. So I have a transportable, I have a portable solar panel in the back of my truck that if I need to, I can stick this out during the day and I can charge this. But here's the beautiful thing. The other night, power went out, and here's what I did. I have the APC battery backups for all my alarms and all that kind of stuff and Wi-Fi. I unplugged those. I plugged those into this unit, and I plugged that lamp. So while everyone else in my neighborhood for 2 or 3 hours was just sitting in the dark, I had television, I had Wi-Fi, I had a way to charge my phone, I had a light, and if I wanted to plug in a box fan, I could plug in a box fan. That's where this little system is fantastic. It'll run for hours. I mean, almost 8 hours that way, because these things just don't draw that much. So the ability to be able to have a light on, Wi-Fi, television, all that stuff is just incredible. That's the Weather Channel, by the way. But man, let me tell you what, they're not cheap. They're more expensive than a gas generator, obviously, but not to be able to have that, to have TV and all that stuff without a gas generator running. You can run your gas generator during the day. Neighbors aren't trying to sleep. And then your refrigerator is nice and cold. You can actually turn this on and have some luxuries and ways to charge some basic stuff. Okay, so let's talk about cooking for a minute. I have this pet peeve about cooking things inside the house. I hate to have a house stink up. So I have cooked outside at the farmhouse and here. Years and years I've used a camp stove, and let me show you. It's a fantastic little stove. Don't judge me because this thing is 3 years old, and I have a backup one. I have a brand new one sitting in the basement when this one dies out. Propane tank, and then this is the camp stove right here. I can cook on this 3 meals a day for a month on one tank. It's fantastic. Now, what is this lid doing here? My only pet peeve about these camp stoves is that when it's windy out, they don't put wind blocks down here, so you can sort of get that drifting wind effect on here. So I just throw this up. I make sure it doesn't catch on fire. That's also a grease mat down there, so I don't get grease splattering all over my deck. I love cooking on camp stoves, and it's one of the best investments you can make. Remind me if I forget to link to that, because that thing is phenomenal. Again, one tank, you can cook for a month, 3 meals a day. It's phenomenal. Now let's talk about water real quick. We always keep several cases of bottled water, and then I have gallon water jugs that I fill up before fresh. If most townships, you'll have pressurized water for several days, but at some point, if it's widespread, you'll run out of water. We're gonna get a 5-gallon bucket. We'll use this water and the pool water. We can put it in our toilets. We can flush. A lot of people say fill up a bathtub. Go ahead and fill up a bathtub and use that water for flushing toilets, baths, or whatever you want to do. But endless supply of flushing toilets here. If you have a well system, if you have a well pump, you better have a way to get water out of it because it shuts down. Now, food-wise, we have plenty of food upstairs. The refrigerator is going to be running. That's no problem. But in this basement closet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will forget to link to these, but these are the entrees. This is a full entree meat and supply. So these are a 30-year shelf life. We always keep these here at the beach. If for some reason the main road shuts down off this island, we don't have a way to get groceries. You need to have some kind of backup. That's enough for an easy month right there if you use it sparingly. So again, this is a simple setup. I call this probably about a 7 to 10 day setup, where if you lose power completely, you're gonna lose internet. You have 7 to 10 days. You have food, you have internet, you have power, you have lights at night. Basic setup. This is not long term. This is not a month system. This is not a 6-month system. In the new series that I'm doing, I will show you some long-term solutions. You'll have to pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So anyways, let's hope everyone gets through this pretty safely, because it can be bad. And I guarantee at the farm property, I'm going to be losing a ton of trees, and I've already called my tree guy, and I've said, I'm going to go ahead and pre-book you because I know I'm going to have trees down everywhere. So we'll wait till the storm hits. We're going to have 35-mile-an-hour winds up there at the farm property. I just don't know how many trees I'm going to lose. I'm not looking forward to this, but I'll give you an update. Be safe. Doc.